Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday Morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from the uptrend.com. In the pre-market this morning, stock index futures down across the board, being led lower by the NASDAQ. These numbers aren't too different than they were Sunday night, so the futures have been negative since they opened at 6 p.m. Sunday evening. Now we got a little pop in the VIX there. The VIX has been diminishing over the past week, and that could be supportive for higher stock prices. It is not on Monday morning. Now, there are economic numbers coming out every day of the week. I like to just highlight the major ones that I would be concerned about, and we don't have anything to worry about until Wednesday. Now, in the news this morning, Netflix is out and it is trading higher in the pre market. And Netflix already on a buy signal, so no change in trend there. Now, the price of crude oil is actually down this morning. So it was up 218 coming into the close on Thursday. It is down $1.75 right now in the pre-market. So I'd potentially wave off any buy signals in the energy sector from Thursday's trading action, waiting to see how the price of crude oil settles out. Gold was up last week. It is up again in the pre-market, another $70 or so. So there is global stress out there. It may not be reflected in the VIX, which is more localized to North America, but the global stress indicator is still popping higher on Monday morning. U.S. dollar index down, Canadian dollar up, so no change in trend there. Now, looking at the VIX for the S&P 500 is technically on a sell signal, still waiting for the NASDAQ and the Russell, but some of the tension has come out of the option market over the last week or so. That is not helping the stock market at the moment. Now, whatever symbol you're looking at, there's more than likely gaps created on the way down, and the market is dealing with those or has been dealing with those. So the gap for the iShares for the TSX 60 or for the Vanguard Canada ETF are still holding these markets in check. So we are on a buy signal. The Canadian market looking a lot more healthier than the U.S. market at the moment. Remember, the U.S. is in a trade war with the rest of the world. Canada is just in a trade war with the United States. Now, looking at the S&P 500, there were two gaps here. We came up to the bottom of the first gap up here. The second one's already been filled, so that's not in play anymore, but that one is still acting as resistance. And as you can see, since we ran up there, we've pulled back and we're still on a sell signal. Now, the NASDAQ 100 did fill the second gap, and once it filled it, it reversed. And so we're still waiting for another confirmation of a close above the upper channel line. That still has not happened. And then we've got the iShares for the Russell 2000. We filled the first gap and then backed off. And that second gap, which is a lot smaller, is still in play. We're not having to deal with that on Monday morning. And then there's the semiconductors. And of course, we're still on a sell signal here. That hasn't changed, but you can see we ran up to the bottom of that gap and stopped on a dime. So the gaps are all still there. When you're looking lower, and we are moving lower on Monday morning, we don't care about the gaps above us. They're not in play at the moment, but next time the market turns around and starts to head higher, those gaps will come back in play. Now, when the economy's healthy, you expect consumer discretionary to outperform consumer staples. And that's not what's going on in the US market at the moment. There's consumer discretionary on a sell signal, there's consumer staples on a buy signal. Now, real estate is back on a buy signal. It ran up to fill the gap, and that's where it stopped so far. But we're back on a buy signal as of Friday's close. The metals and mining has been on a buy signal for a few days now, just treading sideways. Of course, within that sector, you'll find some gold exposure. Gold stocks still holding up fairly well. They should move higher on Monday morning. And of course, there's not a lot of gold stocks in any of the major U.S. indices. Newmont is in the S&P 500. You'll see a bunch of Canadian gold stocks show up on the most active list, such as B2 Gold, Kinross. They're often near the top of the most actively traded stocks in the U.S., but they're certainly not in any major indices. So while U.S. Investors, of course, can make money from gold stocks traded in the U.S., it doesn't help those major indices that we follow. Now, Canadian technology stocks still on a sell signal, no change there. The financials coming up to the upper channel line last week. We had energy stocks trade up to the upper channel line on Friday. Not enough to give us a buy signal, and we may see a pullback on Monday with crude oil trading lower. Of course, the TSX Gold Index made a new high on Wednesday, pulled back a little on Thursday, and should trade higher at the open on Monday morning. Canadian industrials got hit hard when the tariffs came out. They've recovered, back on a buy signal here, so no change in trend coming into Monday's trading action. Looking at the bond market, the TLT is still on a sell signal. The XBB is traded up into the channel over the past couple of days, still on a sell signal. We had the emerging market bonds trade up to the upper channel line on Thursday, while the junk bonds are back on a buy signal as of Thursday's close. Last up this morning, quick look at commodity prices. There's crude oil ending Thursday on a buy signal. It was up 2.55% on Friday. It's going to pull back at the open on Monday, so I wouldn't really rush into anything in the energy sector on Monday if there were new buy signals. There's the price of gasoline also popping on Thursday as well. It should pull back at the open on Monday. And natural gas was down last week, so no change in trend there. Then looking at copper, copper's back on a buy signal as of last Monday's close. Then we've got gold, of course, still trading up. It's making a new high in the pre-market on Monday morning. There is palladium and platinum both on buy signals, and the price of silver is on a buy signal coming into Monday's trading action. Okay, folks, that's all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like we're going to see some selling at the open on Monday morning. I don't care how a market opens, I care how it closes. And of course, the most important thing that you want to see is that no matter where the market opens, if it closes higher at the end of the day, that is the pros coming in at the end of the day to buy the market. And we always want to see the pros outbid the public for stocks. And if they can do that, we can start to turn this market around. We're not seeing anything like that in the pre-market on Monday morning. Have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Tuesday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.